Nice, it was loud. So loud. Okay. I think this is working all right. Got to make sure the mic level sounds good and everything. Okay, so I'm making this video mostly for Ryan here. I'm just streaming it because I'm lazy, but instead of like doing a proper edited video, but I got to show off the base and everything that's been going on. But I'll start off by showing off my old base. It's I got a lot of stuff to get out here. I think. So basically, I'm not really like that guy with Factorio, or I'm not that guy. So I would build what's called like a main bus base, and you take all the resources, and the resources are like, I'll try to explain this from the beginning, are like iron, copper, oil, stuff like that, and you mine them, and then you use these belts to transport them to these furnaces, and then you turn them into plates. So that's like the beginning. So this is the beginning of the base. This is where I would take all these resources like stone, copper, iron. I'd use coal to power the furnaces, and then the resultant plates or bricks or whatever would come out to these belts, and then they would go on with what's called a main bus. And the bus is where you take these ingredients and then you build stuff with them. So that's like the basics here. So my base is basically I take all the resources, put them on the belts, put them on the bus, and then build stuff. So like starting here, and I have like a lot of forges for furnaces for building stuff just to make sure I have enough resources. Like it's like the more the better basically. So it's like stone on the top just a little bit, and then iron, and then copper, and then steel, which steel is just basically iron, just more processed. So like I started building green circuits. I made like a little mall, and I also wanted to add. I designed everything myself except for a few things. There's a couple because I don't like using other people's stuff, which is fine if like people do. It doesn't matter either way. It's like your game, you have fun. It's Factorio. It's not like sweaty, try hard nonsense or anything. This is not my logistics mall design. This is Neil House. So like all these blueprints are mine basically, except for Neil House and then balancers. And I'll explain the balancers. I guess it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff to explain. So the only thing I really got from Neil House was this design for furnaces, where you take 3 inputs and then you output 1 processed material here. I just like it. Like you don't need it, but I just like the way it looks. It just looks cool. So this is Neil House design, and then this mall is Neil House design, and it's called a mall because it's like you shop for a lot of different products, just like a mall. So like you're gonna need belts, you're gonna need splitters, you're gonna need underground belts, and you need inserters. And this mall makes it. And I've added a couple things to it. I added like electric mining drills, lights, and bulk inserters. I don't remember what any of this shit's called. And assembly machine 3s. But like if you look at Neil House's original design, let me see. There you go. I don't even know if that was on there or I added it. I think it was on here already. But that's his original design, and I just changed it a little bit to fit in a couple things. But anyway, I've been spending way too much time on that. So this is Neil House, and these balancers I got just from some random blueprint like I saw on the interwebs. But everything else is me. So that was my point. So like this is green circuits I started off, and it's like 2 copper cables go into 1 electronic circuit or green circuit assembler, and then you put in some iron plates, and you get your green circuits or electronic circuits. Everybody calls stuff different things, so it's like it's really confusing. But I'm not going to go over every single factory in here. It would take forever. So here's like my engines, and I started doing lights or lamps on everything, and then I just kind of stopped because you don't really need them. But it's like you're supposed to have lamps for a proper base, but whatever. So it's like some engines. I decided I need some oil refineries and chemical plants. I slapped them here, and notice how everything goes off of the main bus. That's the point of the bus. It's a bus or a transport for all the materials. So like there's some engines. I started doing some quality stuff, and like I stopped. I don't know why. I was like I'll get back to that. I'll get back to up there too in a minute, or I'll start talking about that. Some red circuits. I started doing some landfill here. This is my old base, mind you. So I'm just showing my old base. This is like where I do all my railroad stuff. Put like trains, signals, electric engines. What are these called again? Flying robot frames. And then I have robots up here along with roboports and some chests. And it's like all this stuff makes sense, right? This is all the stuff you need. Solar panels, space platform foundations. And then below, so that's above the main bus. And then below it is where I was doing science. So I'd start off with red science right here. And then I would get into green science and then military science. And they all have different names. Like I call it blue science, but it's a chemical science pack. And you're going to have to get into some oil processing to go further. You get batteries and sulfur and stuff. There's where I made the purple science, the yellow science. And then I fit in nuclear stuff here on the bottom, right here. Just some nuclear stuff like, what are these things called? The heat exchangers and the steam turbines and some of the little heat pipes. And then I've like just slapped some concrete production and refined concrete and hazard concrete down here. And then I finished the nuclear stuff up here because there's some centrifuges and then the actual nuclear reactors. So that's basically my old base, and there's some more, but that's where I did science, and I didn't have that many labs, and they all just converged onto here, and I had to delete some stuff because I'll get into the space stuff in a second, but I had the space stuff like right here. But when you go up a little bit on my base is when it started getting a little interesting, I guess. Here's the chemical stuff for like oil. So I was doing some oil refining because I still have a rocket here. You need blue. What are these things called? I call them blue circuits or blue chips, but they're processing units. So processing units, low density structures, and steel, and that goes into my rocket silo. And this is all making the stuff I need all around. That's what all these little buildings are, plastic and everything. Then I had some extra steam power here. And that was like the top of my base. And then I made a little subsection, one more spot above it, because I have a lot of room here. And this is where I was making, this is all for modules. So I made like another bus, just a smaller one, because you can see the length of the main bus. It's like, this is only iron and copper here. And I did this with electric furnaces, which don't take coal. So they're awesome. Put some modules in them, but whatever. So this is all just for modules right here, and it's only making these tiny little machines here are making all the modules I need. So you can see I have a ton of modules, and this is only level 2. I've started making some level 3 speed ones, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'll also come back to that. So this whole thing is just to make these modules right here. Then I had I needed some electric furnaces, and that's funny that this is still here. Let me delete that. And I had them right here, but I got rid of it. And then I have another logistics mall right here, just because I was running low on belts, because these are the belts I use my entire base, express transport belts. I just started getting into the turbo belts, which are the green ones. So before Space Age, the best like logistics stuff you can use was blue. So you start off with transport, then it upgrades to fast transport, then it upgrades to express, and then now in Space Age it goes up to turbo. And again, I'll get back to that, but this makes everything up to blue here because that's as far as I got at that point. In fact, let me put a little tag right here. And for logistics malls, I forgot which thing I use. Oh, I just use an assembly machine. So I'm gonna add a little tag here on the map just so I remember it's here. So I'll just put logistics mall 2, and I'll just slap that right there. So just for future reference here. Although I do need to tear down this base, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And also these big mining drills you don't even get on this planet. And then again, this is the theme of this video. I'll talk about it in a minute. Trademark. And I just realized these do not have access to a roboport, so let's fix that. Because that's why these are empty. But and I'll get into this design too for my defense. But anyway, above my main base, my old main base, I was making modules, and then it culminated in another rocket silo, just using, because I had like blue circuits and green and all this crap up here anyway. So I put another rocket silo here, but I'm not using these two, and I'll explain why. So I had a little uranium field here, so I started doing some uranium processing, and you have to take the uranium, process it, and then process it again, basically, to get the uranium. There's like 2 different types of uranium. Not really important right now, but that's where I did that. So that's my old base. It was great. It worked. It's not much to look at, but it's perfectly functional, perfectly productive. It was great. I had like around 30 to 60 signs per minute. It was just great. Oh, and this solar design is not mine. I will not take credit for that either. I think this is also Neil House, but I don't remember. Or Neil House, however you pronounce it. So yeah, it's my old base. And then this is my design, which I think I mentioned to you before, Ryan. This is my old nuclear design, which uses some belt weaving to get 2 different materials through here. It's great. I think it puts out 1.2 gigawatts, but it's kind of big, but it looks great and it works, so hooray. So this whole area up here is my old base, and I recently redid my defenses, and I'll talk about that again. And yeah, so that's my old base. So if you come down here, this beautiful, magnificent area, look at this massive new base I built. So the only thing stopping me to make this new base was trains, rails, and signals. I just couldn't get it. So I went into the editor, which is this, and I just taught myself how to do stuff. And it's just basically a blank space for you to test out all your wild, crazy ideas with unlimited resources. You can have however much of whatever you want. There's literally like infinity chests to give yourself as much resources as you want, as much liquids as you want with infinity pipes, just all that stuff. So you can make whatever you want. Like this is how I designed my labs. I did it in here. I need to go in here and design a science vessel. Because here's my new, I made a new ship, and I'll get to this, but I made a new ship type, and it works amazingly well, but it's really big, and it doesn't do science, so I'm going to have to come into the lab. I might do that during this stream, but I'm going to have to come into the lab and design a ship that does science, because this new ship I did does not, but that's also why it's so good, because it only does one thing. So let's talk about my new base. So my new base is what's called a city block design, but I did it myself, which is why it took so long. It took me like, how many hours am I on right now? 156 hours. So it didn't take me 156 hours to build this, but it probably took about 50 hours. I don't know. I'm really not that great at the game, so it took me a long time in the lab to figure out how to do it, and then even longer to put it down and everything. So I came up with this city block design where it's one way. So this rail, you can see the arrows. That's the direction the train goes this way, and then this rail, the train goes that way. So that's how the whole, you can't see it, but it goes left or right to left on this bottom one. So it goes left to right in the top, right to left in the bottom. So these little squares each house an area to make something, and then they take in resources on like the top, bottom, left, and right. So I deliver resources one way, take them out the other, or in different orientations, but it's all like the one-way train. So yeah, make sure this oil's, I'm having some oil issues. Not anything bad, but it's like balancing the amount of oil is getting like really annoying. You just keep having to flush the tanks to keep it balanced. And you're supposed to be, you can use circuits to balance it, but it's like, that's another thing I'm learning. So right now, I'm not really worried about it. It's not a big deal, but anyway, so I came up with this cool design for the concrete, and it is like stone brick, concrete, and refined concrete, and it's like interlaced to just this beautiful little pattern. And that's the center area where I make stuff. And then surrounding it is refined concrete and hazard concrete and stuff, and it just looks really cool. Like the stone brick. And I tried to make the stone brick kind of like encapsulate the rails or envelop them, but the rails are on like a weird grid compared to everything else, and it just makes it a nightmare to like line stuff up with rails. Like it's really annoying, and it's a limitation of 2D stuff, and it's like, and this game doesn't have like a lot of features for like art basically for like making stuff look good, so you just kind of have to wing it. And so I did what I could. Like I made this little artistic design for the circles, and then I made this cool pattern for the inner areas. So that's how my whole base looks. Is if you zoom in, you can walk around. It's this beautiful interlaced thing, and then like hazard concrete and refined concrete and blah blah blah. So that's how my base works. Looks. It's really cool. Currently wearing mech armor too. I got to like post where I'm at with the game. I beat, air quotation, beat Vulcanus and Fulgura, and I'll show my little crappy bases there in a minute. And next planet I need to do is Gleba, and I've already been to Gleba, and I figured it out. But then that's why I built this base, because I figured it out, but I hated it, and I needed to like start from scratch basically. So I came back home to Novice or whatever, and just redid this whole base, just so I had a huge. Because before I only had 2 rockets, now I have 10, and I can easily have more. I needed like a really nice support system to support Gleba or support any future planets. So that's what this base is. And this base does all my science, and I have space for the new sciences as well, which would be these 3 spots right here, but I don't have them yet. That's Gleba, Aquilo, and then Edge of Space or Shatter Planet or whatever. Last Promethean science would go there. And I'm actually low on space science, and I have a science ship here that's making it, but that's what I need to do today, is redesign this ship, because this is my old ship design. I'm on my how many ship designs do I have here? I'm on my 5th ship design, which would be this. And this was my old one. It looks kind of like a rocket. Again, there's no art tools here to make stuff, so this is about as nice as I can make it. You can literally make like any shape you want basically, with some limitations on like holes, but there's no tools to help you. Like there's no brush tool, there's no circle tool, there's no like shade, like there's just nothing. Like you literally just have to put a little pixel down, and you can make the pixel bigger or smaller, and that's about all the art tools you have. So this is about as nice as I can make it. So this ship makes space science for me, which is a white science, but it's not doing much because I only have 4, so I need to do something about that. But anyway, let me do more of this base tour. So here's my new reactor design I pointed out, and this makes 600 megawatts, I would say. I'm not exactly sure. Like you can see, it says it gives like 120 each, but these also give. I don't know the math, but it does like basically 2 of these equals 1 of these. And my power is like, what am I at? So I have 3.5 max gigawatts, and I use about 1.5-ish. Like right now it's at 1.2, depends on what's going on. So let's talk about some of the stuff in the base. So this first cell I call these cells, is advanced oil. So this is petroleum gas, light oil and heavy oil, and I just make some solid fuel for rockets here, for rocket fuel. I made some plastic here too, so I just called that advanced oil processing. Here's where I make rocket fuel, and these are all my designs. Again, like this whole thing is my design. All these blocks are mine. Designs in the blocks are mine. Trains are mine. Everything's mine. So that's also why it looks great and doesn't look great at the same time. So this is a rocket fuel. The next cell, I just do some stone. Here's where my furnaces, where I do steel. Notice I don't need quite as much steel as other stuff, so I only have 2 cells for steel right now. And I'm going to upgrade this stuff to use the new building, the foundries, I believe. But it's complicated. Here's where I do iron. I have 2, so I have 1 train picking up steel at any given time, but I have 2 trains on each cell picking up iron plates or copper plates, because it just use that many. And these trains say they're sleeping because I only have 1 train going into 1 station at a time instead of having them all backed up, clogging up, the rails, waiting. Same with copper, so I got two pickups for trains here. And then I was gonna do all my science in like 1 clean row, but there's just so much going on like with science that I had to split them up a little bit. But they're in like a general area. So here's like the first science, and I looked at my old base, and I was making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I was making like 10 red science, but these are only tier 1 assembly machines. So I was making 10 red science at a tier 1 assembly machines, and then the new base, I just realized this is not symmetrical. Like, why is this? I don't even care. So I was making 10 there, and I'm making 20 here. And it's a tier 3 assembly machine. So it's technically, it's double the amount of assembly machines, and they're 2 tiers higher. So it's just a lot more. And then here's where I do green, and you can see it getting increasingly complicated. So like red, all it takes is, iron gears and copper plates, and then green takes inserters and transport belts. Here's where I make some red ammo or piercing rounds, some more steel. Here's where all the science goes in, which I've been showing. So like I said, since everything is on trains, it'll be like they build the red science in this cell, take it out here at this station, drive over here, and then pull up here and drop it off for each science. And then it goes in a transport belt, and it comes into labs. And I'm low, like I said, I'm low on space science, which I'll get to. And then here's where I make rails, red circuits, or what are these things called? Advanced circuits. And I have a couple of different places. Like I have advanced circuits here, and where's the other one at? Oh, and right here. Because you're just going to need like a lot of resources for some of this stuff. And then here's my logistics mall again. And this one had a bunch of other stuff on it before. And I changed it and removed it. And I'll explain. Well, I'll explain now. Because I made a bot mall. And I started watching Doshington. That's what really inspired me to do this base. And he does, after he finishes his base, basically, he makes like a bot mall, and it's a place where you just build stuff and your bots build it all for you. Or you just say, I have this, and then you're going to build this. For example, let's say I want to make defender capsules, which I don't, but let's say I did. I would just click right here in this building, right click here, and then left click in this requester chest. And then the bots will automatically see them already bringing stuff in. They'll bring in, you can see it's requested, the ingredients I need to make this defender capsule, and then end up putting it in this passive provider chest, which is in my logistics network. And my logistics network is all the materials I've accumulated in this base within, Roboports. So you can see like there's my science, there's plastic, batteries, whatever. So that's what a bot mall does. And then I have like just so much room for more, but this is all I'm building right now. Like one of the last things I was building was nukes, some artillery shells, landmines. It's all here in the bot mall, and I can put so much more there. And I just started, like I said, building turbo stuff, and I'm getting it from another planet, but I'll get to that. So anyway, that's my base. I went over a bunch of the cells, so that's the gist of it. It's basically everything. The thing I'm loving right now is everything is pretty much done. Like it's like idling basically. Everything is built. I do want to point out a couple of things though. Like, okay, so here's where I first started making green circuits, and it's so much better than like by comparison in my old base. Here's my first green circuit design. We got assembly tier 1 and tier 2. It's big, it's bulky, it uses slow inserters, crappy small electric poles. And you come here to my new base, and we've got Tier 3 machines. We've got beacons with nothing in them, I just realized. Hold on. Oh, I guess I'm just not beaconing them right now. I guess I don't really need to. Look, this stuff's full anyway. But it could be beacon and modules. I usually have beacons and modules in everything. I just realized these are just serving no purpose. I got trains bringing in the materials. What I want to point out was this ugly little lip here. So this is 3 trains bringing in stuff, and look how non-symmetrical and just ugly that looks, right? So, oh, I'll get to that. So, this is a redesign one. It looks exactly the same, but I fixed the ugly lip and made it much more symmetrical and smooth. And I got this design from Washington. This is mine. I didn't use a blueprint. I just looked at it, you know, because there's not much to it. And I call this the Lil Nubbin. And it is just 4 bulk inserters on belts, and it drops one off here, and it drops one off here, and it comes down the middle, so both sides of the belt are saturated. Then it drops down, and then same with the left side. So the left and right side are both filling up this whole belt, and then brought down here, and then balanced into 2 perfect lanes. It's a little nubbin. And then since there's so little room here, I just have like kind of like a half nubbin here, and it brings it up above, and then drops it off. And I'm actually just looking at something here. Oh, okay. So, and then this train just straight up just drops 4 on a belt and brings them down. But either way, they get balanced. And this is where, again, this is not my design. I put a balancer here. A balancer just basically takes all the stuff on belts and makes them balance with each other. So you basically get a full saturated belt without like stuff like this. See, this is not balanced because there's more on the right side of the belt than the left. But that's also because you're getting used. But once, you know, when the stuff's fully saturated, this stuff balances out and then it comes out looking like perfect. But it's kind of hard to show. Like, yeah, here's a good example of balancer. So I have 3 lanes of stuff coming in, and it ends up on 6 lanes going out, and it's balanced so that the same amount of material is on each belt. So that's how balancers work. But whatever. So that's my green circuit. What I wanted to show. Oh, am I on full bore right now? Okay. Do I have 2000 science? Well, I guess I'll show it now. It's my crappy. I've been having so much trouble with Fulgora. Like, I've got it, but I've been running into just so many issues with supplies. Too many, too little. It's been a to-do. And it's mostly because when you process this stuff, and this is getting way ahead here, but when you process the scrap, it puts out just random garbage, and it's hard to balance it all so you don't have too much of one thing and not enough of another. So right now batteries are becoming a problem for some reason because my accumulators. And you need accumulators for electromagnetic science. Okay, looks like I'm having a shortage of these supercapacitors because it all trickles down. I'm having a shortage on my science because I'm having a shortage on supercapacitors because I'm having a shortage on batteries. It's like, but I'm working on it. But that's my Fulgora base. I have another bot mall here where I make everything. It's basically I gave up and just let the bots handle it. It's a pain in the ass. But I basically have a train that picks up scrap. And notice how it's not as cool as my main base, not as organized. There's a bunch of reasons. You only have a small bit of land mass. There's power issues. But this is why I wanted my main base to be so robust, so I can, if I need the supplies to a planet, I can just come over here and my bots send it to these rockets and they immediately fill up the ships because there's 10 of them. But here's where I pick up all this stuff from other planets. It's not really big because I don't need that much space. And then here's, I made this little display for the sciences. So, like for instance, this red science here. If I go down here, it says fully supplied, and you see the green light. So the lights indicate the supply level, and then this display tells me like the level 2. So it says worryingly low for the space science, and there's like a red light here because if I come up to it, which the space science is right here, yeah, there's nothing, nothing in this chest. So yeah, that's basically my whole bit. Oh, so one of the last things I wanted to talk about was my defense. So I made this tileable blueprint here. This is a defensive wall, and it looks better in game. I'll show it. And it's basically a little what do they call this, dragon tooth wall design? So the enemies have to like stagger through here, and while they're staggering through, they're getting pelted with uranium ammo, laser turrets, Tesla turrets, and flamethrowers. So if they get anywhere near this, which I can easily show, I don't see anybody attacking right now. Let's attack somebody so I can show this here. Problem is these artillery have done just such a great job of nuking everybody. I think this is a base right here. I'm going to get some water in a second. Okay, so I launched some artillery shells over at that base. Let's watch them go. This should aggro them, and they should send like some things after us. Okay, so I pissed them off. Here comes the biters. They're pretty much fully evolved now. I get like the behemoths and everything. It's really annoying. Okay, nobody's attacking me. Oh, here you go. Here's some nests. I'm just looking to see if anybody's heading my way, but I don't see anything. Oh, here we go. As you can see, it's not. They're not even close to. It's bad for them. So I have and then I have artillery turrets like every so often along the wall. So this is my defensive wall, and it just obliterates biters. Like they just don't stand a chance. So I enclosed this whole area with it. The side area, I'm completely enclosed because they can't cross water in this area down here. And I use a train to supply the more remote areas by bringing it into specific stations. Like here's one where I bring in uranium ammo and it just flows up. And then I have oil here for the flamethrowers. Basically, my whole base is I use an in and out system. Because most people have these like really long names for stations, and it annoys me when you look on the map and it says like all this random shit. So I only have the name of the cell and then just out or in. So a train is coming in, it's where it's dropped, which is kind of like backwards, but this is how my mind processes it. In is where a train brings something in, and then out is where a train takes something out. Or in is where a train drops something off, and then out's where a train picks something up. It's weird, but so it's like really simple. It's just in or out. Here we can see a train just going about its business here. So, and I color coded him too. So this is green, so it's something green. Oh, uranium ammo. Okay, and if I click on a train, I can see, for instance, with the uranium ammo, I have a bunch of different spots around the base where I just drop the ammo off. So it's just in, and I just numbered them. So it just sits there and spends 30 seconds on each, and then it leaves. So look at any given train. It goes to out to pick up or until it's full, and then when it's done, it leaves. It goes to an in station until it's empty, and then that's it for the trains, in or out, full empty. So I showed the Fulgora base a little bit, and here's my Vulcanist base. I basically built a bus, but with the new foundries taking lava and turning it into molten iron or molten copper, and then I made the plates, and I made a little bus. It's a little better than the Fulgora base, or it's a lot better because it runs way better and more. I have no problems with it, but I have like 4 rockets here. I have 4 rockets here and like 5 on Fulgora. I can do more on both. I can do so much more with everything, but this is where I'm at right now. Here's where I make the turbo stuff. I just use bots on these parts, and then for the belts, I just made like a little belt area here. And then for power, I just power the whole base by steam. And that's because sulfuric acid is a naturally occurring product here on the planet. So I just take the acid and through a process, I turn it into steam. this chemical plant with the calcite. Actually, let me go get some water real quick because my throat's dry. Oh, okay, this is going to Vulcanus. I'll leave it on my ship here for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, nice picking up. I have it picking up the new stuff from Vulcanus. So I guess I'll go into a little bit about what's new with Space Age, basically. So you have your main planet. That's the base game, which is where I have my main base. And then they added new planets, basically. And on the new planets, there's going to be new materials and new buildings you can make. So the first new planet I went to is Vulcanus, and the new materials, and on the new planet, there's new rules. Like, for instance, in Vulcanus, instead of biters, there's these demolishers, and they have what's called like territory, and it's red. And once you kill them, you get more territory, and they're really hard to kill. But I initially only had like a little bit of space, and then I killed a couple, and I got all this space. And if I need more space, I'll just kill more. I don't really care right now, though, because I'm barely using it. Oh, crap. I did not mean to do that. So, the new buildings on Vulcanus are going to be these big mining drills, which are the only things that can process this tungsten. And then the foundries, which takes lava or it takes lava and it turns it into resources you need, but it also does other stuff. And I'll basically, like, the new buildings take stuff you already do and do it better, but they also require new resources. So another new resource on Vulcanus is calcite, and I'm assuming it's just like calcium crystals or some shit. I don't know. So calcite, tungsten, lava, foundries, and big mining drills are basically, and then the new orange science are called metallurgical science. Yeah, metallurgic science are the new parts of, and tungsten carbide are the new resources for Vulcanus. So basically my base is taking all of that and shipping it to Novice or processing it. And then these new tiers of logistics things like the turbo transport belts or the turbo undergrounds. So that's Vulcanus. Fulgora, the new stuff is you get what's called scrap. You basically, if you look on the map, there's what's called ruins, and there's scrap around them, and there's scrap all around. And you basically take this stuff, you process it, and you get out. Let me see if it'll show it. Actually, I bet I can just look it up in the Factorio. This is another new feature, Space Age or 2.0. Not really seeing it here. Oh, here we go. You take scrap and you put it in a recycler, which is another new building, and you have like RNG chance of getting these materials. Holmium is new. Everything else is the same. Is stuff that's already in the regular game. And these are the recyclers. They have an input and output, basically. So my basic setup here is I have a train. I have 2 trains right now. I'm going to change it, but this is it right now. They pick up the scrap, just like on Novice. They pick something up. and then they bring it over here to this little area, and it's not much. I've been through a couple different iterations of how this works, but this is my current one. And they bring it to these recyclers. Recyclers take the scrap, recycle it into a usable product, and put it in these active provider chests. The bots take it out of the chest and put it into just basically my logistics network, or to just store it. And then I build stuff with the bots. And then the bots look at my network, and they take out what they need, and they build what they need. The problem is you get so much scrap and so much stuff, your network gets clogged, and then you run into issues because it just gets jammed. So I built these little, this is my latest solution. I built these little recycling chains. I have it 5 length, so it basically deletes it from the game. It puts it in the first one, it recycles it, and when you recycle stuff, there's like a chance you just lose some of it, basically. Or some of it doesn't recycle and just gets deleted. So I have these chains where it'll take something, recycle it 5 different times, and by then it should be deleted. If it's not deleted, it's fine if it goes back in the network, because that's almost never happens anyway. And this works by a requester chest is wired to my RoboPorts, and all my RoboPorts are connected to my network. So by connecting it to a RoboPort, it essentially can read all the items I have on the planet. And then I come in here and I say, if this ice is greater, or whatever the product is greater than the max amount that you can hold in a chest, which would be 4,800, then ask for 50 of them. Then when it asks for them, it goes in the chest, and then it just gets recycled. So essentially what happens is, if I have more than a max amount of something, it comes into a recycler and gets deleted. Like that's how you deal with all the excess. And I have a bunch. And the biggest offender is steel and concrete for me, but I'm gonna have a little bit too much copper right now too, so I'm dealing with that. But essentially everything can get overfilled. And as you can see, these chests are like bloated as hell. Yeah, that's cool. I have too much iron, ironically. I'm gonna have to do something about that. But anyway, that's Fulgora. Oh, the new resources are going to be holmium, and I have some holmium plates right here. We got some new buildings, like the electromagnetic plant. Look how beautiful that is. There's a new science, which is electromagnetic science pack. And we have new materials like superconductors, supercapacitors, these cool buildings called lightning collectors. And when there's a lightning storm, basically the whole reason this base is powered, let's see why my ship is pulled, is when lightning strikes, a lightning collector gathers it, and then it just gets stored in these accumulators, which are basically batteries, and I have a bunch. And it's ugly, but it works. And I recently saw on Reddit, somebody said use quality accumulators and you'll be able to store more. So I started building them. Where am I building them? Out here. I have like some rare ones here. It's a to-do. Like it's a lot. But anyway, you can see the lightning because of the storm, and then they hit these collectors, and then they get stored by the accumulators, and that's what powers the base. That's Fulgora in a nutshell. Oh, and the Tesla, this is where you make Tesla turrets on Fulgora, and the new Tesla gun, and Tesla gun ammo. So that's Fulgora. The next planet is Gleba, and it's a to-do, but so that's that. So let's explain these ships real quick. So basically, while you're in space, these little asteroids fly by your ship, and your ship will snatch them up and pick it up. And then I have it brought to these little belts, and it weaves all around the ship to all the collectors, and then it goes into the cargo bay. And as you can see, I got a lot of stuff. Then with these crushers, you take the asteroid bits and you crush them into a usable material. The problem is, since you're always collecting stuff, you'll just get clogged. Like I'm clogged right now, actually. But I also have these little wired. I'm using circuits more as I play. These inserters wired to, for instance, this one is wired to read how much iron ore I have, and if it's greater than 450, it will pick it up and throw it, basically yeet it out of the ship. Like, see, it's just getting yeeted. And I also have it picking up the asteroid chunk as well. So it's like basically each resource has an asteroid chunk. So like iron ore has what's called a metallic. Carbon has carbonic asteroid, and then oxide asteroid is ice. So whenever I have too much, it picks it up and throws it out. But you also need some to fuel your ship, because you have thruster fuel and oxidized thruster oxidizer. And the thruster fuel takes carbon, oxidizer takes iron, and then you need water and get that from ice. So those are the three main resources you need. Have the water stored in tanks, which I don't have much, and then have the fuel stored in tanks. And I made a little circuit telling me at a glance how much fuel I have. If it's full, I'm green, or if it's almost full, and then I have little displays telling me the fuel's ready with circuits as well. I don't know why I'm low on ice though. I'm always low on ice in this damn space shit. Yeah, so the problem I'm having right now, and there's always a problem. Like that's the fun of Factorio, solve problems. Is I'm not making enough space science. I only have 4 assemblers here in this one ship making it. I made my new ships not make space science because I wanted them to focus on picking up the planetary materials. So that's exactly what they do, and that's all they do. They do not do space science. So what I need to do is go in the editor and design a ship that does space science. So what I could do, and the ships, what I could do is just use this ship that I'm already using and just modify it for it, which I probably will do. But if I go in the cargo bay, I can read the conditions for the ship to launch, because everything needs to be automatic in this game. So my ships are set to pick up. For instance, this is my Vulcanist ship. If I go on here, it's going to pick up 1,000 orange science from Vulcanist, 100 turbo belts, 50 turbo splitters, 50 turbo undergrounds, 20 big mining drills, and 20 foundries from Vulcanist. After all the requests are satisfied, which is this, it will return to Navis. When it's at Navis, it needs to make sure the fuel is good with these 2 circuit conditions. I read the fuel I just have a wire hooked up to, like, I think 1 tank. And 1 tank is indicative of all the tanks because they're all connected. So if it reads it's greater than or equal to a full tank, then that circuit condition is satisfied. Same with the other. So if all the requests and I'm full of fuel, it will head to Vulcanist. And the same with my Fulgora ship, it's just a different request. Right now I'm only taking science from it, but I don't really need that much more from Fulgora, so that's about it. Speaking of which, let me check. My batteries have always been low, so that's what I'm keeping an eye on. Okay. So let me try something real quick. I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do it on stream, but let me see. So if I wanted to do space science on this, it's not going to go anywhere, so I really don't need fuel. So I would basically get rid of all this. I do want to keep ejecting the extra asteroids out, so I'll keep that. I don't need these right here the way they are. Okay. And I don't need this. And as an infinity chest for designing stuff. Okay. So the ammo is fine. I do want it to have ammo and shoot stuff if I have to, although this isn't going to be going anywhere, so technically I don't need gun turrets, but I definitely do need the collectors. And you know what, I probably need more collectors because I'm going to, yeah, if this is not going anywhere, then I don't need turrets. This is a design process in a nutshell here. And then there's even more efficient ways to do what I'm doing right now too. I do not need this ammo belt, so what I'm going to do is make a deconstruction planner, which is delete stuff. I do not need red inserters. Get rid of ammo belts and get rid of turrets. And then if I drag this right here, this will get rid of all that. Although, I messed up because I do need this belt. Yeah, so we want this belt, we just don't want this outer belt. this. Have to put blue inserters on here as well because I want to get rid of those. The important thing is I'm getting rid of these belts, but not the asteroid belts. I need to keep collecting asteroids. I just don't need to do any ammo, or like stuff with the turrets. Okay, so that's one part of this. So I have this whole area here to design science. I'm going to keep this here. I don't need it because I'm not going to be flying in this vessel. It's just going to be picking up science, just sitting here idling. But I'm going to keep the thruster here just because they look cool. And there's not really a point in getting rid of them anyway. Whereas with the turret, actually I guess there's not really a point in getting rid of these either, but I'm just doing it just to make it cleaner, I guess. Oh, I'm doing it for more room for asteroid collectors, that's why. And these things require, you need power on your spaceships, and it's I'm not going to say very difficult, but it's more difficult to bring a nuclear reactor into space or the other types of reactors. It's easier to just use the solar power that's available. So I just have solar panels and accumulators to power the space platform. And the difference between the space platform being on planet is all the electricity is, which I think is kind of clever. Oh yeah, I'm in the editor. Unlike on the normal game, since the space platform is made out of copper and steel, the copper, I'm assuming, is conducting the electricity. So you don't need to make, my point is you don't need to make power poles or anything like that in spaceships. Like all the electricity is shared across all the flat surface. So it's pretty awesome. So what I will do, and I'm probably going to need an infinity chest here to do this. It's very cumbersome to use this like editor, to be honest. It's tough. So I'm gonna need electric furnaces, assembly machines. That'll do it. Actually, I think I can just click on them. I keep making this mistake. Yeah, I can just do this. I don't need the infinity chest. Get out of here. I'm not going to bring in foundries or anything because that would mean I need to bring in calcite, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So, electric furnaces. So let's say, how much space science do I need? So I'm making 4. It's not enough, and I want to make a lot more. So let's make like let's make 20. I'm going to start off just so I can look at the recipe here. So this takes ice, iron, and carbon. Fit 1, 2, 3 right here, and 3 belts. Problem is, this is going to take 3 belts, and I need room for the furnaces. Let's make like 5 furnaces, I guess. Actually, I guess I can make a lot more. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's make 10, fine. And we'll make, let's say, this one for these. Too close, so let's move them back one space, the inserters, and then we'll just use these inserters to put in the ore. So this is me actually designing something like live, basically, or playing around with it. So this is where I'm going to pick up, and I'm going to put a filter on it so it only picks this up, iron ore. So we can do that, and then it's going to output iron plates. And see how I just made express transport belts out of thin air? That's the power of the editor. So let's put these on here, and I'm just going to use these fast inserters because I think they use less power than the. So These use max 169 kilowatts. These use max 59. Yeah, they use less power than the bulks, and they're rough. They're a little slower, but not much slower, so that's fine. So there's the iron ore, and then we're gonna need ice and carbon. So let's put carbon filter on there, and I'm putting filters on these so they only pick these resources up. Otherwise, they would dump out everything in here. Like, that's bad. This, and we'll do this. So this needs all three. So what I need to do is make a situation where this assembly machine picks up 3 different belts of materials, and you can do that easily with inserters set a certain way. So let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's copy the recipe. Let's move this over a little bit. Kind of want it to line up with the furnaces. Okay. I also, I have room here, perfect. Want them to output here and then come back. Actually, I probably want them to come back and watch this. So I don't have any more express transport belts. So if I want more, I just hit the pipette tool, which is Q, boom, and it gives me 100. Love the editor. And then we're gonna put an inserter. So this bulk is gonna take the science and throw it back into the cargo bay. And then we'll just have and like I said, the whole surface is conductive, so I don't need power poles. Like, they're all powered. Like, this is not the editor, it's just how the game is. So if I want 3 belts of input, I'm going to need to do... I think I'm going to do this little silly design here. Hold on. So I want 1 input here. I need some long-handed inserters for this. Another input. Put here, that down there, another one here. So this long-handed inserter, so this one's gonna grab from this belt, this one's gonna grab from the middle belt, and then if I want to grab from the far belt, I put one, and I just use the force copy, force paste tool. I'm gonna put one here, and it's just gonna go like that. And then I want to copy this little design and then paste it. Except, let's see here. There we go. This should do it for me. I think I messed up already. I have trouble doing this here. Hold on. So, okay. So I just need to do this. Put this here. This here. This here. There's more eloquent ways to do this, more visually appealing ways, but this works. So this picks up from the top belt. This picks up from the middle belt. This picks up from the bottom belt. And then the underground goes under all of them. Okay, cool. So to get these 3 materials on here, I'm going to... There's not enough room. I don't know if it'll pick up. Yeah, it's not going to pick up from here. I'm going to have to move all this over by 1. So let's do this here. And this is why you do shit in editor, because this would be really annoying to do in game. Oh, we need that. And I had to move all that over by 1 just so the inserter could grab this more easily, but that's fine. That's why I built this ship this size, so I had more room to play around. Okay, so do this, do that. So it's going to pick up the ice and the carbon. Throw it on there, and then you can see it immediately begin working. And I have all this free space here. Now let's see how much science this makes here. 15. And then it picks up the science, throws it in there. And that's how you design a science lab on a ship, like really easily. Could be better, but that'll work for now. I kind of want more. Like, I don't know if that's enough. So fully going, it's about 100 science a minute, which is great. My base puts out about 260. I don't know if I want to match that or if I even can. It'd be really hard to get more of this stuff. I wonder, let me try something here. Yeah, I guess there's not enough room. If I grab this and then flipped it vertically, I would technically have enough room, but then I'm out of room on, yeah. If I move this down one, if I move this up one and then move this, yeah, you know what, that might work. Let's try something here. Again, the power of the editor. Let's get rid of these. Let's move this up. And you know what, screw this, get rid of these two. Let's move it way up. Let's go back to this. Actually, I want it just flipped vertically. Let's see here. Is this all 3 belts? Let's check it out. So this is also taking. Okay, it's not taking this belt. Okay, so let's back up for a second. I'm trying to do the problem with designing stuff is it's like it requires like a mental acuity that I don't quite comprehend here. So I want this to. I think I want the top part, but not the bottom. So under this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I want this mirrored on the bottom, but I don't want. Let me just try something. I'm like struggling with this, like mentally. My brain is just. So I put this here and just do this. Then this part gets screwed, and then this part doesn't have enough. So let's get rid of this. Why are you going the wrong way? There you go. Pick up. Pick up. Pick up. Copy this again. Oh, this is what I didn't do last time. Put that there, and then we'll copy it again. Okay, so this should go smoothly to all 4. Okay, so now I need to do the same thing, but down here. So let's just do this one by one. So that goes here. This goes there. And that goes like that. Let's see if this is right here, because I am just... I'm not the smartest guy, so this stuff is really hard. Okay, so here's the problem. This is what I was trying to get to. So the problem is this needs to go underground right here, but I'm out of room, basically. So... Yikes. I need this to move over again. So this all needs to move over one. I think I'll just straight up I just did this backwards. Except this one's actually, okay. So this goes down, this goes up, this goes up, this goes up, okay. Okay, so here's a problem that I did not think of. This also catches, so I'll have to do these opposite Z's. God, this is so annoying. But this is why you do this in the editor. So let's once again bring this over. Put this here. And then instead of making this look awful, I'll bring that down like this. Okay. So I need this same thing again down here, but mirrored in and offset, which is hilarious. So let's just do one of these like this. Flip it, and then we'll move it over one with horizontal tool, but the belts will be backwards. But you know what, that's okay right now. Okay, what the hell is going on here? Manually again. Okay, so let's flip it so that these aren't running into each other. Okay, hopefully this will do it. This needs to be on the side. This is a problem that should have taken me like 2 seconds to figure out, but I have a tough time wrapping my head around the like visual. Ugh. Okay, so that'll work. That's gonna go through all of these. It's gonna pick up from each belt without interfering with each other. Okay, that'll work, and then that should make 20 science at a time. The only issue is getting this back on a belt, which is extremely easy. What I can do, instead of looping this all around, which I'm not going to, is simply, okay, I don't want it that close, simply bring it up and have it run through there. And it'll be like a little merry-go-round. And that, my friends, should get me 215. Okay, that's much better. That'll do it. That's much better science. Good Lord, that was giving me like a migraine. Not really, but that was way harder than it should have been. And those are the constraints you have to deal with when you're dealing with space science. Oh, so I need more collectors. That's the next thing I wanted to do. So let's put one right here, I guess. Same with this one. It's not going to be as symmetrical as I'd like, but it's okay. Just have it. Let's also put one here. Oh, okay, let's move this back one. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I want more collectors because I'm going to need more raw materials to be doing this science in the first place. Okay, so there's those 3. Don't need this part of the ship. Useless. This is useless. Probably don't need any more accumulators or anything, but you know, let me redesign this real quick too. Whoops. Now this is a blueprint I'm making, so I'm going to bring it into the main game. So I'm just cleaning it up a little bit. I have all this extra space here, so since I don't have turrets anymore, I'm just going to clean this up and then I'll put them back down, but I'm going to put them up a certain way. So there's all my collectors. I'm going to use one more. Keep getting the way mixed up. Let's do one more right here. Is that too far out? Can't tell if that's symmetrical or not. Whatever. Put it on the belt. Belt. Okay, that should be good. Alright, now let's do these solar panels and accumulators, and then I'll be done. Let's see, this whole space down here is useless. This is useless. That's useless. And that's useless. Just trimming off. The more of this you trim off, the less the ship weighs. And you want to make it weigh like as little as possible. Okay. So let's get these solar panels down. Oops. And of course it doesn't 100%. God, whenever I drag the mouse, it always goes at like an annoying angle, and it never goes straight. My hand, I mean. Is that all the solar panels I had? Let's get some more. I think this is like way too much power. Let me see. Just throw a power pole on here. So I got 13 megawatts and I'm only using like 3. Let's do one more round of this. Let's fill up this whole space with solar. Yeah. It's better to have too much power than not enough. Okay, and then the other side will be all accumulators. So I have 157 solar panels. I forgot what's the ratio? Let's see. Yeah. 0.84 accumulators per solar panel. Like, that is... Okay. I'm going to have to do the math real quick. So I have 157 times 0.84. So I need 130, let's just say 32 accumulators. And I have 77. Okay. Now, I don't need to do all this. This is just, I don't know. It's not, it's just, I just like to be prepared. That is 143. That's overkill. So let's get rid of these. They look kind of ugly here. Of course. Oh, okay, never mind. I was like, could you just be neat just for once, please? Alright, that's cool. That's fine. Okay, so this should be my science ship now. Completely done. I need more ice, but that's fine. So I'm going to blueprint this. And I'll say space science. And I'll just call it Science Vessel Mark 1. This isn't going to go anywhere, but... Okay, so now if I go back into my game... Oh, wait a minute. See, I made this mistake before. Go to my blueprints and put it in the book. There you go. All right, text message. Okay. So I got the blueprint. Go back in the main game. Okay, so all that was just to make a single thing. And I like to do in the editor too because I save like a lot of time. So this is going to be the problem. I have to delete all this. I'm just going to send it all down to Navi so I don't lose any materials because I've lost materials before. Stop putting science in the ship. I'm trying to get rid of this stuff. All right. Bots are going to have a hell of a time cleaning this up. I mean, if there's a better way to do this, I would really like to know, but it's really annoying, like, doing it otherwise. So, okay, see, I was gonna say, this is a problem. Okay, cool. When you build stuff in space, there's like some bugs, and it's really annoying. Okay, so it's asking for everything it needs. I don't really need anything, so other than just building. So this is building right now. Okay, so back to what I was doing. Like, holy crap. This is just all... Sorry, I'm texting, so I keep pausing. Okay. So that was all just to make the science vessel. And now the next thing I need to do is... Well, I need to go to Gleba, so I guess I should get my... I need a Gleba ship as well. But I don't... I'm making a science ship. So I gotta wait for the science ship to finish, and then I'll make a Gleba ship. So... let me see here. So I need to find something to do in the meantime. I basically have everything built I want to build. I have all this room, so much room for more stuff, and there's like literally nothing else for me to build. Checking. So my Fulgura could use a pickup, and I got plenty of batteries. And this is about to go pick it up. Okay. I have this one waiting because this new ship design goes out too fast, and it like picks up before science is ready. So I could set some circuit conditions to do it, but I'm not a genius with circuits. I'm like barely dipping my toes into them with like lamps. And I got this this design off of a YouTube video about thruster efficiency. Long story short, your thrusters burn too much fuel. And you can see where it says efficiency in this little pop-up here when they're going, and it just uses more fuel. So this circuit basically has a timer for 60 seconds. It's basically counting to 60. You can see it go up to 60. And then it outputs a signal to this pump. And whenever this number of the signal is less than 20, it will activate or deactivate. You can see the timing of it is not working, not working. So what that basically effectively does is it pumps less fuel to the engines, so you use less fuel overall. That's the whole point. That is not my design. Like, my design is this crappy lights and this little display panel stuff telling me. And I also wish there was a better way to get circuits to look, or these wires, because they're just kind of janky floating around, but whatever. What else was I going to do before I go to Gleba while I'm waiting on this crap? See the ship's slowly setting up. Yeah, it's going to take a while to set this up, so I'm going to really need to... I do need to adjust some stuff on my other planets. I don't really need to go back to Fulgora anymore. Like, I could do better, obviously, but this base works for now. Like, I need to... This scrap is only 5 million, and this one is only 1.8, but there's a pile over here, right here. It's 211. I need to get that. But I have to train, like all the way over here, and be annoying. Plus, you can't build power on the stupid, what is this stuff? Heavy oil ocean. In fact, I don't even know how I'm going to get power over there now that I mention it. Lightning collectors and accumulators, but you can't really fit that many here. Whatever, Future Lloyd's problem. Yeah, so what else was I going to make? Was I gonna tear? Oh, I was gonna tear down this ammo. Why is this ammo just sitting here? Oh, there's just a belt of ammo that's just sitting by itself. So let's get rid of that. I was gonna fix this ammo. I have like, this is my old, the old borders of my base are like laid bare here. So I was gonna fix that. So this goes in here. I don't need this anymore, so I can get rid of this. So I have laser turrets, gun turrets, regular inserters, and walls. So yeah, I probably want to get rid of these power poles too. I'm just afraid of accidentally deleting something I need for power, but we'll see what happens. Better go up here to make sure I don't disconnect something. Yeah, so this mech armor is one of the new things in Space Age. I have like a little reactor in it, and the shield, night vision, belt immunity I don't really need, some lasers and some exoskeletons for faster movement, and I've made some quality ones, but not much. I haven't really dabbled in quality as much as I should have because I don't really care. But the neat thing about the mech armor, besides it looks cool and it's better, is it auto jumps over obstacles, so you never like have to worry about getting stuck anymore. Like you just walk, you basically just walk through everything, you're just flying over obstacles instead of walking. And these exoskeletons are like really fast, so. And this is why I'm doing this by hand, because I need to keep track of everything that's going on here. Walk pretty. Unfortunately, when you fly up, you like slow down, as opposed you don't, or I should say you don't get the movement bonuses from the ground when you're floating. So like if I'm on refined concrete like I am now, I only get the movement bonuses if I'm walking, but as soon as I start flying, it goes away. Okay, so this wall is trash. Let's get rid of this. So like, I don't want to do this. I want my base box to do it, so you guys do it. These are unnecessary. Alright, I hope this doesn't ruin the power for anything, which is why I'm doing this myself, like I said. Looks like everything's still lit up. This is connected to this. I'm basically just removing a lot of these defenses because I have a bigger defense outside the base right now. So I don't need this entire belt either. So I just need this one belt. I don't need this to loop around anymore. And I'm only bringing this up because I'm feeding this uranium ammo to the defensive wall out here. Otherwise, I'll just delete this crap. Up, see, that's exactly why I was up here. So I've lost power to this because of one power pole somewhere. So let's just reconnect it real easy. Not liking how this power situation is going here. Also don't need an underground here. And this is off by a couple tiles, but whatever. Oops. See? It's like you gotta pay attention. So that would have been bad. Also don't need the splitter because it's just going up. Alright, the bots can get rid of the rest because I don't feel like doing that. Okay, so it's one little fire put out. How's the ship going? Mostly done. Just waiting on a few more things. Polgora ship is going to Polgora, which is good. And I'm going to let's pick up a couple more turrets. So the way these ships work is very confusing and convoluted considering how simple it appears because, or I shouldn't say convoluted, but, well, actually, yeah, it's confusing and convoluted. That's exactly the point. So let's say I want to pick up something from a planet. You have these little logistic mini networks you can pick. And I've been messing around with them, and it's been weird. So I want some Tesla turrets, so I click it. You can pick however much you want. The problem in the planet it comes from is the rockets. This is the problem. Every item in the game has what's called a stack size, as you can see under where it says piercing rounds magazine in the bottom. It says stack size rocket capacity. Problem is rockets can't carry that much stuff, even though they're gigantic, which is realistic because that's how it is in real life because of weight. But it's annoying in game. And it's understandable, but it doesn't mean it's not annoying. So, they're delivering. So, for instance, this entire rocket can only hold 10 of those. Or, for instance, if I want 25 uranium ammo, that's only one rocket. So, if I want 1,000, then that's 1,000 divided by 25. So, it's really annoying, the limitations for what you can put on a rocket. It's extremely annoying. But like I said, it's understandable. Shit. This is another. I'm gonna have to do a circuit condition for this too, because if your thing is full and you get a shipment on your ship, it'll just drop onto the surface, and I'm not sure if it deletes or not. It'll drop on the surface of your ship. So I don't know. Either way, it's annoying. So I'm just making sure I don't pick up any more asteroid chunks while picking up its stuff from Polgora. Anyway, so you put on the cargo bay, I want 10 Tesla turrets and 2,000 science, right? Then you have to go down to your planet or wherever you're picking it up from, go to your cargo landing pad, and then also put on, you're going to pick up that stuff from the ship. Like, it doesn't just auto drop it off when it goes to the planet, which makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but it's annoying to set up. So I kind of wish there was a button when you clicked, you know, import here. It also had like export to here or something, or I don't know. It just feels weird to go to two different UIs. But anyway, so I'm picking this up, and it did that very fast. I have to come over here and I already have it set up to pick up that and pick up that. Pick up the turrets and pick up the science. If I don't set these here, the ship would come over to Novice and just sit there, and it would just sit in the inventory. So you have to do two setups. You have to set up the ship, and you have to set up the planet. And it makes sense. It's just, honestly, it's my fault because I forget to. So. Oh, and we're already producing science, just like that. Ship is done. Oh, that was fast. You know what? That was so fast. Let's make our Galibus ship. And then hopefully this works well, because I'm really not getting that much ice. I'm gonna need a bunch of ice. So let's do something real quick. Turn off the extra ice. I want to keep all the ice on this ship. And I'm going to drop it to the planet, and then I'm going to drop it to the science vessel so it has a ton of ice. Because the ice, for some reason, I just do not get enough ice. And there's little recipes you can put in the crusher to, like, for instance, I have this one. So this is making iron ore, this is making carbon, that's making ice. I have one set to basically random. So this takes a metallic asteroid, and then turns it into 3 different asteroids randomly, and the percentages are right there. It's annoying that it doesn't work as well as you feel like it should, so I don't use it all the time. Like, ideally, if I do it on all of these crushers, it would balance out, I guess, but that's ideally. It's like, that's not real life. send this ice down to the planet. Just a little. Oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm not auto-deleting ice. So I have some recyclers here set up. Yeah, they are. Crap. Do not delete ice. There we go. Here, you know what? Just go away. Don't don't delete the ice, please. Hey. Hey, I'm streaming to no one right now. Yeah, like I said, I was just making a video for Ryan and for posterity of my base because I like to. I'm not recording camera though. It's just audio.
I'm having fun. It's a big twitch.
That was a pathetic meow.
Right
Look at all this junk coming from space. Okay, so my Glebus ship is just sitting here. I'm gonna go ahead and put in the blueprint for a spaceship and not a science vessel because I'm not making science. And then my stuff will deliver. What's cool about this giant base is I have everything I need made. So like for instance, space platforms are being made down here, or the space platform foundation is being made down here. So I did not fill in this square yet because I didn't want to mess up the order of filled in squares. So let me actually show. So to fill in these squares, it's so annoying. The way the grid of this game works, and just the whole game, is it's on like a little pixelated grid, just like any 2D game. When you repeat a blueprint, if it's not symmetrical, then it will not be symmetrical when you repeat it. So you have to perfectly make stuff symmetrical as a blueprint so that when you lay it down, it stays symmetrical. Unfortunately, when I made the design for how my base looks, no matter what I tried, I could not get everything to line up. So I had to separate it into two different blueprints. So if I want to fill in these squares, I had to do, it's a 3-step process basically. So first I have complete assembly, which is a whole square. So I come over here, hit this, there, and then my bots will make a square. And I don't have too much bots because I don't like it clogging up and slowing my computer down or anything. I only have like, you can see 2,000 logistics, 3,000 construction. So they'll make that block. Keep forgetting. There we go. So let's finish those squares. And then I'm going to start filling these in. So to fill these in with my design, I have to come over to my blueprints. It's 2 different blueprints, like I said. So I made different designs for stuff, which you can't even see on here unless you click on them. It's too zoomed out, and the pattern's kind of different on the blueprint screen. So I have to make an exterior assembly, I have to drop it down, and I have to line it up perfectly, which is weirdly showing blue on a spot that it usually doesn't, but whatever. So drop it down, which looks like it's right. So that's just this part. And the outer parts you can see are glowing. Then I have to come back in and then put in the design for the actual middle. And I have to do that with every single square. So this took me quite a while too because the bots aren't like super fast or anything either. And you can see them all working now. So I gave them something to do. For some reason they did like a patch and the science ships out or gets sent down to the planet like immediately instead of accumulating up to a certain amount. It's really weird. Let's see how my science is doing now. Okay, it's still empty on the buffer chest. But it looks like all my labs are going. Anyway, science per minute's a little low because the space science is not hitting right, but it's usually around 230, 270. My old base, the science per minute is, it was like 24, I think. So I was shooting for 10 times more, and or it was 24 to 27, and I got around 250, give or take dozen or two. So I reached the goal I was looking for. But this was just giving me like 24, 27 signs per minute. And it sucked. But as you can see, it's like tier 1 assemblers, yellow belts, like nothing special. So this new base was just fixing that. And it's still not even close to what I would call a mega base. And I was not trying to make a mega base at all. This is just a regular base. I just wanted to try a more organized design with trains. And that's it. The bots are filling this in. And then I'm going to fill this square, this square, this square, this blah, 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 blah. Oh, I need ice. So let's request all the ice I have, which I don't think is much because I didn't ship that much, but so there's 1,000 on the planet. Well, then give me 1,000. I don't know why it's red. See, this is part of what I mean with like weird this logistics with these ships. Let's see why it's red. Oh, probably because they're building the other spaceships. They're a little busy. Unfortunately, they're shipping in the ingredients out of order. The first thing that should go up is another thing I hope they fix. Oh. How long did you play this save already? It looks big. I actually have comments. Sorry, I didn't read them. I didn't think anybody was watching. This save is 156 hours. Yeah, that's my biggest problem is planning my base too, which is why my old base looks like crap, and I need to deconstruct it, and then the new base is much more better and everything. every aspect is better. Oh, and this is no mods. This is vanilla. No mods at all. Not even like the simplest QOL mods. It's 100% vanilla. No cheats or anything like that, which is fine if people use it. I'm just saying, it's just like 100% like normal vanilla playthrough. How many hours am I at with this game? So I'm at 619 hours plus 177. So I'm at about almost 800 hours, or roughly 800 hours Factorio overall. Oops. I'm having like, I was having issues with trains. So the point of this video is I'm showing my base to my friend, and I went into editor one day and just sat here and learned how to use trains basically and signals. And that was the point of this base. And then I designed everything myself with the exceptions I pointed out at the beginning of the video, which was just balancers, the initial furnace stack, and then like what else was I using? Oh, and the solar panels, and then everything else is mine, like the rails, the city block, the design on the blocks, all the designs in the blocks. That's all me. And then I got the idea for what I call the little nubbin from Dosh. It's just a train unloader. And then like train loading in is just, everything's mine, basically. TLDR, everything's mine. How'd you deal with the infestations and nests to create the new base? I have the biters on like a little less aggressive than usual. It's probably the biggest thing. Another thing is when you play, you immediately make a wall, like as soon as you can, and put turrets on it. And then as you progress with better tech, you put better turrets. And then when you get artillery, as soon as you get artillery, it's basically game over for the biters because of the insane range, the damage, like. And then since Space Age came out, you have even better technology, so it's like you're even more of a bully to the biters. But you basically just build a wall. And then there's different wall designs too, like this is called a dragon tooth design, where you make it so they have to kind of go through, kind of like Normandy, they have to go through a series of obstacles to get to your wall. And I've upgraded this damn artillery damage 6 times and it still can't one-shot nest, so I'm going to keep upgrading it until the nests get one-shot. Like, it's because they've evolved a lot, and This is not enough upgrades, I guess. Taking out a couple nests. The behemoth worms take 2 artillery shots, which is like really annoying. Anyway, I'm aggroing the biters so I can show how the defense works for this base. Really? Did I not put a thing? Oh, I did. I'm just wasting artillery at this point. You guys here yet? Come on, guys. I really want to try out a very lazy only laser turret defense without walls for my next base. I had that and it failed so bad. Like, I didn't lose or anything, but it was like I was constantly getting notifications that biters were attacking, and it was awful. Like this outline of my base was where I had basically no walls and laser turrets. Oh, here we go. So here's how the defense works. As you can see, it's multi-layered. They have to go through. I basically make it as annoying as possible. They have to go through the dragon's teeth, and they have to survive gun turrets with massively upgraded uranium ammo, laser turrets, Tesla turrets, and flamethrower turrets. So it's like they have to survive all that just to get to the walls. And it's just a grid. Like it goes all the way across the entire area of my base. And then there's like little entrances where they could get in, and again, there's more walls. Like anywhere they can get in, more walls. And the trains supply what I need on parts of the base anyway. This base is not, I didn't plan this base out at all. So it's like, I just made this initially, this part. And then I got annoyed at just a main bus type base, and then I started building this. So this is the main base. That's my old main base. Ship on Vulcanus. I can probably stop picking up foundries and drills now. I think I got enough. Alright, so what's going on in Fulgora? So my batteries are okay. Just really got to make sure. Okay, my blue processors are about 41K. That's a bit too much. And they need, okay, so I need to get rid of more blue processors. So let's take a look at my machines. Okay, so these aren't doing anything. So let's put this on here, there. Let's do like 4 of them. Okay, so that'll get rid of any excess blue circuits or advanced processors, whatever the hell they're called. And then how's my science? Science is at 200, but I think it's because I just picked it up. 2,000, 10 turns. Okay. How's the science vessel? Science vessel is good. Plenty of ice. That's what I wanted from the planet. Okay, good. Very good. And my Gleba ship is slowly being built. Okay. So I'm making this Gleba ship to obviously go to Gleba, and I'm going to make it the same design as my other 2 ships, or now 3, and then I'm going to bring like a shit ton of stuff. Like I'm going to bring a lot of defensive stuff, but also some base building stuff, but it's a little different on Gleba. Like I said, I already did Gleba. I just stopped and made this base to redo it. I'm just going to have to kind of go back and do it more just efficiently, I guess. I just didn't like how it turned out. Let's put another, it's like I was showing earlier how I have to do this design to get this to look good. So to copy paste a certain way, it's really annoying. And I have to make sure I don't accidentally hit my mouse. God, there's so many trees here I can't even see. There you go. I also don't really want to get rid of these trees because they eat pollution, and my pollution cloud is an abomination. It's fucking massive. So like, I'm just gonna keep the trees for now. That's why I wanted to get rid of my old base too, because it's just making pollution. Because it's not 100% idle. I'm still making resources in. Like for instance, I'm building more space platform foundation here. I'm still making concrete here. I'm still technically making science. I'm just not using any. So what was I gonna? So let's check on the space science now. So I built that whole ship. Yeah, there we go. Because my space science was getting low. So that is much better. So now it's actually, the train car is actually full. Belt's fully saturated to go all the way down, loop all the way around. Yeah, okay, that's exactly why I built that ship. So if a science is fully saturated, I want this little end thing to say 2 is red. Yeah, it's very red. And like I said, I don't have mods, so I can't really do anything about it. Oh, I put some landmines here to test them out against spiders. Let's see how they behave here. Well, that's why they're still there, because they're not even making it to the landmines. The biters are just dying before they even reach them. I was genuinely curious how the landmines behave. So this is another design: is if you make a dragon tooth wall and then put landmines in between the teeth, is just another way to make yourself even more protected. Where's my bot mall? There it is. Okay, so I got full landmines. Yeah, this is a bot mall where the stuff you usually handcrafted, and you don't feel like it, I put here, and some other things I need for the base. That's a lot. Right. And some ship stuff, like the ships, like some of the stuff you don't want to make in like bulk, you know, like you do need a lot of items in bulk. Like you need refined concrete, 100% you need in bulk. You need ammo in bulk. You need oils, gases, resources. You need bot stuff for science in bulk. Not bot stuff, but some of the parts of it for in bulk. I don't know why this is doing so much better. I wonder if it's because I put this here. Yeah, I was earlier in this stream I was complaining about my oil because you use circuits to balance your oil, and I don't for the oil, so it was just a mess. I was just hitting the flush. I was flushing it like every second. It was annoying. Not every second, but yeah, the oil's looking good in both bases. God, these ships build so slow. But it's because he keeps picking up all the stupid stuff. It's like it's picking up all the stuff I don't need. Pick up the foundation first, and then pick up the parts that go on the ship. But yeah, so the point of this, the whole 2-hour affair, was I was making a video for my friend to show him my base in all its glory. It's when I first started. You know what? I'll actually show it. Let me show you. This is how my base used to look. And another save. So I have like my space age saves, which are great. Okay, here's an old base. This is before I started playing Space Age. Like, I didn't know how to use trains. Like I said, I had to go into the editor and show myself how to use trains. It's annoying. Because people explain how to use trains, but they don't explain how to use trains. Like, because you can't. You kind of have to just do it. Because they go chain in, rail out. And it's that helps, but it's not the be-all, end-all. So this is my old base on an old save. It's crazy. There's multiple main buses. There's one for like explosives and stuff and rockets. There's one for main supplies. There's one for science, This whole bus is specifically to launch one rocket, but Space Age used to be different. You used to need what's that stuff called? Rocket supply units. I forgot. Rocket control units, which was what was made this machine. So you needed a lot of materials to launch a rocket before Space Age. Yeah, so this whole bus was just for the rocket. They changed the fluids. That's why it says these fluids are all out. So like an old wall design. Yeah, so this is how I used to build, which is great. I'm still a beginner, but one day I'll get to that level. I am not at that level. Like this was about 800 hours of knowledge. I will say, Ariel Birdie, if you watch Doshington videos on YouTube, he showed me a lot. Like it's humorous Factorio videos, but I learned a lot from watching him because this kind of stuff I would never do until I started watching Doshington, and then the casualness at which he makes the most like amazing bases, like, and he knows they're amazing, is like astounding. Did I drop that right? Let me redo that just in case. If I misclick by 1 pixel, it ruins the entire blueprint, so I have to make sure I'm real careful. There we go. Vulcanus, going to Vulcanus. Let's see how we're doing here. So everything's good on Vulcanus. Yeah, my Vulcanus, my other planetary bases are not perfect. Like, they're not great. It's this main bus design. I do not feel like putting like an epic huge base in each planet, and quite frankly, you don't really need to. You just need to get that science, and then that's it. And the buildings. And I make like these 2 foundries make so much science. Like, that's all I need. So everything's looking good here. The problem I'm running into right now is Fulgora is just a mess. But it's mostly solved. Let's check on my blue. Okay, so the processing units are slowly going down. The only thing you really have to worry about in Fulgora is just making sure your items are just not overloading. Because I had this whole area filled with chests. This is actually better now. Because you'll just get overwhelmed by all the scrap. Because the whole point is to take scrap. So as long as I just keep recycling everything, it should be good to go. Oh, never mind. I believe it's almost done. So yeah, that's my whole base. I just wanted to make a video showing it. It was it was a lot of work to get here to understand trains. That was the biggest achievement, was going into the editor and figuring it out, because the train signals, you would think intuitively they would work a certain way, but they just don't. You know, they just don't. It's all about you like understanding how the game wants, like the game's logic. So like, for instance, this doesn't need to be here. Same with this. You're gonna like, when I have the intersection here and I have the little chain signals to make sure, I don't need that there, but I'll leave it there anyway. To make sure that they don't congest on the roundabout here. When they come off over here in these lines, I used to not have these signals here, and then they would just slam into each other, or they would pile up, or they would not even enter the block at all. And that used to be a huge problem until I realized if you put a signal before and after the stop, it basically turns this into its own little section. And then if there's something in this section, then the trains can go right by it, no problem. Because it used to be, if anything was in any of these sections, like in a spot, or like over here, if anything was in this section at all, this entire line here would just stop and go red, and the trains would just sit there. So I had all these little traffic jams and stuff that I had to work out. But in which situations do you use chains? Yeah, you use chain signals like this. Um, I guess I can just show it like this. This is not a great. Let me make a great example. Yeah. Why? You want me to make dinner like 3? I mean, you want me to make the main meal? All right. Um, what was I saying? Oh, so a better example of how this works. So you basically want to put a chain into a split, and then after the split, a rail signal. That's the very basic definition of how it works. So, for instance, right here, in the direction the trains are going, it's going to come out of this line, and it's saying there's a split right here, is to hold up, like, or look ahead. Then it's going to look ahead and see that there is a signal here and a signal here. These two signals are saying, this signal is saying there's a train in front of it. This signal is saying there's no train in front of it. That's why it's green. That's why it's red. Since one is red and one is green, this bad boy turned blue, and then it's saying just kind of hold up on like either one of the directions, or just be mindful that there's a train somewhere close ahead. It's a basic gist of what this is saying right here. So if a train comes through here, instead of stopping right here, it's going to see the blue and realize that there's only a train down here, and instead just keep going this way. Therefore, a train doesn't stop. The goal is to make sure the trains don't stop unless they're at a stop. Like, that's the point. And I knew this was going to happen. Oh, it's fixing itself. Okay, I was afraid that there's like a bug where your ship thinks there's a hole in it, so it won't build properly. It's really annoying. Anyway, so the chain in, rail out is basically just means put a chain before an intersection, and after the intersection put a rail. So, for instance, and I use that principle the whole base. So, for instance, here's a chain signal here saying, if you come down here, read the signals ahead. Then if you come ahead over here, guess what it sees? A rail signal. So chain in, rail out. And it goes all the way around in every direction, one way or another. And it doesn't have to be perfect. But this is the part they don't tell you, is that when you say rail out, you mean fit another train in the rail out. For instance, when this is rail out, but guess how big that rail distance is between that and the intersection? It's enough for a full train. My trains are all basically 2 cars full. It's a car and a train head, with the exception of those big boys there. See how he stopped for a second? That's the normal size of my trains, is this bad boy. I was like, could you guys stop? Is this one here, one here. So basically the signal after your intersection needs to have enough room for a train, or else it will get clogged. That's another point they don't mention. So everywhere on the base, there's going to be rail signals on the straightaways, basically, and then enough room for a train to park or stop or keep going or whatever. You just that's it. Chain in, rail out with enough room for a train. And every single one of these little stops has the signals before, and this is supposed to have a signal after, which I don't know why it doesn't, but I'll put one here. And I try to line these up before and after a stop, so a train can go on the other track with no problem. And then, like, here's a split right here, so I have a signal here to make sure that if a train's coming from this direction and it's ahead, this train won't go and hit it. So I could do a whole video on how signals work, but that's the gist of it. And the only way I figured it out was by going in the editor and just sitting there and messing around with trains. Like, nobody could explain it to me. All the videos explaining it were like 30 minutes to an hour long. They were too long, too complicated. That's the basic gist of it. And you know what's funny is I don't even have all these signals perfectly like set up. They work, but there's like right here, they're not lined up like the perfectly symmetrically. So these are here to stop a train or to say this is a block, but then I didn't put one like right here to line up. I didn't have to, but anyway, I gotta go make dinner. So that is the video. That's the stream. Yeah. I will hope everyone has a good day. If anyone is watching, peace out. Later.